Happy morning to all. So we are doing place of supply. Section 13 is the target. 13.1 applicability. 13.2 general provision. 13.3 performance based services. 13.4 services relating to immobile property. 13.5 events and organization of events. We all understood that 13.6 and 13.7 are supporting section for 13.3, 13.4 and 13.5. That means if the service has been provided in more than one location including a taxable territory, provisions of 13.6 will be applicable. If the service is provided in more than one state, then provisions of 13.7 will be applicable. So today we have to do 13.8, 13.9, 13.10, 13.11, 13.12 and 13.13. 13.8 called as specified services. 13.8 oda peru. So service supplied by a banking company or financial institution or non-banking financial company to account holders. So the service provider is either banking company or financial institution or non-banking financial company to account holders. Number 2, intermediary services. Number 3, hiring of means of transport including yachts, excluding vessel or aircraft up to a period of 1 month. So in specified services, 3 services are covered. Service supplied by a banking company or financial institution or NBFC to account holders. Intermediary services, hiring of means of transport including yachts, excluding vessel and aircraft up to a period of 1 month. Then the place of supply is the location of the supplier of the service. Location of the sir, service provided by a banking company or financial institution or NBFC to account holders. What do you mean by account, sir? Account means an account bearing interest to the depositor and includes a NRE account. Includes and also NRO account and also include. So basically the account means here we are meaning NRE or NRO account. Service supplied to holders of demand deposit, term deposit, NRE that is non-resident external accounts or NRO non-resident ordinary accounts will be covered under this section. So demand deposit for the DD, term deposits like FD or NRE account or NRO account, all those accounts will be covered here. Banking service supplied to person other than account holders will be covered under the default section, that is 13 subsection 2 of the IGST Act. That means this section specifically covers service provided by a financial institution to the account holders. If you are providing service to other than account holders, then it is covered under 13 subsection 2 of the IGST Act. Service supplied to account holders in the ordinary course of business. The service that is supplied by a banking company or financial institution or NBFC to an account holder in the ordinary course of business are as follows. Normally, the account holders bank என்ன service provide பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா service linked to or requiring opening and operation of an accounts bank account such as lending, deposit, safe deposit locker. These are normal service which is provided by the bank to the account holders, or transfer of money including telegraphic transfer, mail transfer or electronic transfer, etc. That is transferring money. That is the next one they will be doing. So what 13 subsection 8 coverage is 3 services are covered. Service supplied by a banking company or financial institution or NBFC to its NO holder. Number 2, intermediary services. Number 3, hiring of means of transport including yachts, excluding vessel and aircraft up to a period of 1 month. Then what is the place of supply? Sir, place of supply of service supplied by a banking company or financial institution or an NBFC to account holders, that is 13 subsection 8 of the Act, IGST Act. Place of supply service supplied by a banking company or financial institution or NBFC to account holders shall be location of the supplier of the service. Shall be location of the supplier of the service. Shall be location of the supplier of the service. Sir, who is intermediary? The second discussion. Till now, we have talked about the first one, that is service supplied by a banking company, financial institution or NBFC to its. Now, who is intermediary, sir? Intermediary means a broker an agent or any person by whatever name called. All these guys are intermediary. Avanga broker arkalam, agent arkalam, or any other person who arranges or facilitate the supply of goods or services or both or securities between two or more person, but does not include a person who supplies such goods or service or both on his own account. ஏன்னா own account ஆனா அவங்க யார் ஆயிடுவாங்க? பிரின்சிபல் ஆயிடுவாங்க. அவங்க என்ன ஆக மாட்டாங்கன்னா ஏஜென்ட் ஆக மாட்டாங்க. ஏஜென்ட் ஆனாதான் இன்டர்மீடியரி ஆகுவாங்க. ரைட்டா? So if you are providing an intermediary services, then also it is covered under the provisions of 13 subsection 8. We are having a specific exemption, which is section 11, my dear lovable students. Exemption in respect of intermediary services. Exemption in respect of. That means if you are providing intermediary services, one intermediary service is exempted as per section 11. Okay. Service provided by an intermediary. So, yaar service provide pannirka? When location of both supplier and recipient of goods. So, this is applicable only for goods. So, recipient of goods is outside the taxable territory are exempt from GST. That is supplier of the location of the supplier and the recipient of the goods are situated what? Outside India. For example, you may be an intermediary, you may be situated in India. Okay, wow. You may be situated in India. You may, sir, take your phone and you would have made a call. Hello, the supplier who are situated outside India and the recipient of the goods is also situated outside India. You would have said to the supplier that please supply the goods to the recipient who are situated outside India. That is exempted under section 11 of the CGST Act. That is, this is exemption. Exemption means section 11. Hello, sir. Since this is a interstate supply, this is covered under the IGST Act. That means section 6 of the IGST Act. What we have learned is section 11 is for the CGST Act. Either interstate supply varradanaala corresponding section will be section 6. So, documentation requirement, if you want to enjoy this exemption under section 6 of the IGST Act, following documents shall be maintained for a minimum duration of how many years? 5 years. 5 years. Number 1, copy of bill of lading. Copy of bill of lading. Copy of. Number 2, copy of executed contract between the supplier or seller and the receiver or any of the goods. What is the contract what they have executed? Copy of commission debit note raised by an intermediary service provider in the taxable territory from service recipient located in non-taxable territory. For example, if I am situated in India, my aim or my purpose is to get the commission, correct? So I have to raise a document called as commission in a note, debit note. So I should raise a commission debit note saying that I am entitled to get only commission. Hello. Copy of certificate of origin issued by service recipient located in a taxable territory. So copy of certificate of origin. The non-taxable territory service recipient enna pannumna certificate of origin tharnum. Certificate of origin means these goods have been originated from outside India and received outside India. Declaration letter from an intermediary service provider in the enna territory on the company letterhead confirming that commission debit note raised relates to contract when both supplier and recipient of goods are outside the inner territory, taxable territory. Appreciate pandrani. So my dear lovable students, number 1, these documents you have to kept for minimum period of 5 years. So what is the discussion we are making? If the intermediary is situated in India and both the service, the recipient of the goods and the supplier of the goods are situated, it is exempted. That service is exempted in India provided 5 documents has been kept for 5 years. Number 1, bill of lading. Number 2, executed contract between supplier and the buyer. Number 3, commission debit note raised by the intermediary service provider. Number 4, copy of certificate of origin issued by the service recipient. Number 5, declaration letter from the intermediary service provider in taxable territory. For example, a travel agent registered in New Delhi books a tour of famous Indian cities for a Dubai resident. The place of supply is the location of the supplier of the service, that is New Delhi. This is just a normal intermediary services. This is not the example for the exception. This is example for normal. So the intermediary travel agent is acting as an intermediary who are situated in New Delhi, correct? He is booking a tour services for a Dubai resident in India. So the service provider is situated in India and service recipient is situated outside India and the service is a intermediary services. Then provisions of 13 subsection 8 will be location of the provider, supplier of the service is the place of supply, and New Delhi is the place of supply. Fantastic to the core. Import freight is taxable. What is taxable? Import freight is taxable. In case of import of goods, since the destination of goods is in India, place of supply of import freight is taxable in India, and the same is liable to tax. That means if you are taking goods from outside India to India, then it is import. Then it is import freight. It is called as. So, for example, Indigo is taking goods from outside India to India, correct? And we are paying freight, means that freight is called as freight, import freight. Since the destination of goods is in India, it is liable to tax. It is what? Liable to tax. GST on ocean freight, importation of goods under NA charge, reverse charge. Now, in case of import of goods by vessel from outside India to the first custom port in India, importer in India is liable to pay GST under NA charge basis, reverse charge basis. This has been deleted, omitted in the Finance Act, new Finance Act, right? This has been removed. This is what our understanding, because two special RCMs were there. One of the RCM has been removed. So, supply of online periodical sale journals is there. But if you are importing goods by vessel from a place outside India till the customs station of clearance in India, till now the person who are liable to pay tax is the importer, but this has been removed. We have already discussed many times in class, right? Now, import air freight is exempted. This also we have learned, because transportation of goods by air from a place outside India till the customs station of clearance in India is exempted. Service by transportation of goods by aircraft from a place outside India up to the customs station of clearance in India are exempted, my dear lovable students. So, what is the one line summary? This, why we are discussing all these stuffs, all those stuffs here, because these guys are acting as an intermediary, or they may be acting as transportation of goods. So, if the freight is an import freight, then it is taxable. But if you are importing in vessel from a place outside India till the customs station of clearance in India, earlier it was RCM, but now that RCM has been removed. Now the next one, import in a freight, air freight is exempted. Import air freight is right, man. I'm moving into the next one, man. So 13.8 in a services, specified services. This is a summary. Service provided by banking company or NBFC or financial institution to an holder, account holder. This is the first service. Number 2 is what? Intermediary services. Hiring of means of transport, including yachts, excluding aircraft or vessel, up to a period of. That means aircraft or vessel, straight away provisions of 13.2 will be applicable. Other than aircraft and vessel, you have to check whether it is up to 1 month or beyond 1 month. If it is up to 1 month, provisions of 13.8 will be applicable. Otherwise, again, even for that, provisions of 13.2 will be applicable. Appreciate Pandrani? Yes, sir. Place of supply is the location of the service provider. Place of supply is the. So, what is 13.1? Applicability. What is 13.2? General provision. What is 13.3? Performance based services. What is 13.4? What is 13.5? What is 13.6? Service provided in more than one location. What is 13.7? Service provided in more than one state. What is 13.8? Specified services. Fine. What is 13.9? Transportation of goods, including what and what? Sorry, excluding what and what? This has been deleted in the act. Now it has been omitted. That means if you are transporting goods other than mail and courier, then provisions of normal provisions will be applicable, which is 13 subsection. This is an amendment. Place of supply in case of supply of service of transportation of goods, including through mail or courier. With effect from 1/10/2023, 39 of the IGST Act has been omitted. White Finance Act 2023. Consequent to omission of said subsection, place of supply of service of transportation of goods other than through what and what. In case where location of the supplier or location of the recipient is will be determined the default rule under section 13(2) of the Act, IGST Act. That means, Munadi, if you are transporting goods excluding mail and courier, then provisions of 39 has been applicable. Munadi, clear? If you omit panniyachena, transportation of goods excluding what and what, then default rule 13(2) will be applicable, because if the provisions of 13.3 to 13.13 is not applicable, then provisions of 13.2 will be applicable, right? Accordingly, in case where location of the recipient of service is available, place of supply such service shall be the location of the water service. And in case where location of the recipient of service is not available in the place of supply shall be location of the supplier of service. Our default rule, correct? General rule, location of the recipient of the service. If the location of recipient of service is not available, then we don't have any other way. Then on the same principle as mentioned above, place of supply in case of service of transportation of goods by dash or dash will continue to be determined by default rule under section 13 subsection 2 of the Act. So, you know one thing, Munadi, destination of goods was the place of supply. Destination of goods was the, sir, ipo, transportation of goods, excluding mail or courier, excluding, sir, now transportation of goods excluding mail or courier, we can say that Munadi, place of supply is equal to N of goods. Destination of goods. N of goods. Where you are taking that goods was the N of supply, place of supply. Sir, for example, service provider may be situated in India and service recipient may be situated outside India. Correct? Then the place of supply was determined based on the goods. Based on the goods. Goods enga poi viludungiradha place of supply ithan naal paathirundom. What government decided that we don't want place of supply based on goods, we want place of supply based on persons. That means location of the dash of the service, a recipient of the service, location of the, so from the goods based place of supply they have shifted to person based place of supply. If the location of the recipient is not available in the ordinary course of the business, then location of the, so now there is no relevance for where the goods are going. Where goods enga podu, enga virudu, enga nikidungiradhukku matter கிடையாது. முன்னாடி சார் அதை ட்ராக் பண்றது ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா இருந்துச்சு. அதான் விஷயம். என்னன்னா goods destination of goodsனா நிறைய பேர் வந்து இந்த செக்ஷன்ல இருந்து தப்பிக்கிறதுக்காக destination of goods எங்கன்னு காட்ட ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க. outside India. So automatically outside India place of supply எங்க வராது, இந்தியால வராது. எங்க வரும்? outside India place of supply வர்றதா இருந்தா taxable territory குள்ளே இல்ல. taxable territory குள்ளே இல்லனா அதுக்கு நமக்கு GST வாங்குறதுக்கான ரைட்ஸ் கிடையாது. சோ இந்த செக்ஷன் ஒரு மாதிரி சார் ரிடண்டன்டா யூஸ்லெஸ்ஸா இருக்கிற மாதிரி இருந்துச்சு. பிகாஸ் இன் கேஸ் ஆஃப் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் ஆஃப் குட்ஸ், சார் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் ஆஃப் குட்ஸ் ஆல்வேஸ் த பிளேஸ் ஆஃப் சப்ளைஸ் எண்ட் ஆஃப் குட்ஸ் டெஸ்டினேஷன் ஆஃப் குட்ஸ் தட் இஸ் எங்க outside India. எங்க outside? For example, man, service provider may be situated, இங்க பாரு, service provider may be situated in India and service recipient may be situated outside India. He may say that, sir, இந்தியால இருந்து ஒரு குட்ஸ் எடுத்துட்டு சார் இந்தியாக்குள்ள எங்கயோ என்ன சார் கொண்டு போய் சேர்க்கணும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா சர்வீஸ் ப்ரொவைடர் இந்தியா, சர்வீஸ் ரெசிபியன்ட் அவுட் சைட் இந்தியாங்கிறதுனால ப்ரொவிஷன்ஸ் ஆஃப் 13 will be applicable இல்லையா? The destination of goods எங்க is in India. Destination of goods is in India. So இதுக்கு டாக்ஸ் முன்னாடி வந்திருந்துச்சு. இப்ப சர்வீஸ் ரெசிபியன்ட் எங்க இருக்காரு? outside India இருக்காரு. What government saying that, sir, we are shifting the taxability from the எதில இருந்து goods to the person. Goods to the person. So location of the dash of the service, recipient of the service. Recipient is situated outside India. What government is saying that we don't want tax on this. We don't want tax on this because this is like export of services. It has not exported the services. The service has been consumed within India only. But since it has been provided to a person who was situated, we don't want GST on that is a question. Are you really with me? So what we have to understand is earlier the place of supply has been determined based on the goods. Now it has been moved to the person. That's why they have omitted, sir, 13 subsection. That's a very important answer question. Now 13 subsection 10 passenger transportation services, place where the passenger embark on the conveyance for any journey, continuous journey, where they are embarking in the conveyance for the continuous journey. This has not been amended. Earlier also same, now also same. Service provided on board a conveyance, sir, during passenger transportation, including service intended to be wholly or substantially consumed while on board. That means you are providing a service provider on board a conveyance. during passenger transportation, including service intended to be wholly or substantially consumed while on board. First scheduled point of departure of that conveyance for the journey. எங்கிருந்து அந்த conveyance ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்கு. First scheduled point of departure of that conveyance for the journey. So அந்த ஜேர்னிக்காக அந்த கன்வயன்ஸ் எங்கிருந்து ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்கு, அதுதான் அதோட என்ன சப்ளை, பிளேஸ் ஆஃப் சப்ளை. So what is 13 subsection 1? Applicability. What is 13 subsection 2? General provision. What is 13 subsection 3? Performance based services. What is 13 subsection 4? Services relating to immovable property. Sir, more precise, direct services relating to immovable property, because specifically 13.4 is saying that indirect services are not in the ambit of 13.4. What is 13 subsection 5? Events and organization of events. Both are covered, correct? If these three things are supplied in more than one location, including a taxable territory, or more than one state, then provisions of 13.6 and 13.7 will be applicable, right? That 6 will be, sir, much powerful than yesterday's MSD 6, right, sir? So 13.6 and 13.7 will be applicable. 13.8 is specified services. There are 3 services are covered there. Service provided by banking company, intermediary, or NBFC to its end holders. There it should be very specific. Only to the account holders it is covered. Other than account holders, provisions of 13.2 will be applicable. Default provision will be applicable. Then intermediary services. In that intermediary services, we have talked one exemption which are covered under section 11 or 6 as the NMAB. Case may be that exemption is very important for examination. Then the last one is hiring of means of transport to including yachts, excluding aircraft or vessel up to a period of 1 month. That means aircraft or vessel is not at all in the list. Sir, the other hirings are there. It's based upon up to a period of 1 month. If it is up to a period of 1 month, 13.8 will be applicable. Otherwise, it will move into 13.2. That means for all the 13.8, sir, location of the service provider is the end of supply, place of supply. If the location of the service provider is not determinable in the ordinary course of business, then I have to move into the location of the recipient, but it has not been mentioned in the act, right? So location of the end provider, service provider. Now 13 subsection 9, which was transportation of goods, the excluding mail and courier. Earlier for goods we have found out the place of supply based on the goods. Now they have shifted from goods to the person. So provisions of 13 subsection 2 will be applicable. General rule, default rule will be applicable. So 13 subsection 10, transportation of passenger where the passenger embark on the conveyance for the continuous journey is the place of supply. 13 subsection 11, service provided on board a first scheduled departure point of the conveyance for the continuous journey is the place of supply. We are having 13 subsection 12, OIDAR. We will be talking about what is OIDAR, its explanation, and 13 subsection 3, central government is having power, and the summary. And after the summary, my dear lovable students, we will be talking in depth of OIDAR services. That means the same thing which will be doing in depth, what that is talking about, whether this activity will be coming to NSR OIDAR or not, and who is the person liable to pay GST in case of OIDAR services. Then again we will be talking about the special provisions for payment of tax, how the OIDAR service has to pay the tax, how to take the registration and all, and sir, taxable online recipient means, and they have added a new section called as section 14A with regard to online gaming. This is a pure amendment for our examination. That also will be talking at the appropriate time. So we may be taking one more day extra to talk about the OIDAR related service. Since it is an amendment part, I don't want to rush it. I want to give a pakka clarity over that area. So I am wishing you a very happy new year to each and everyone. Today is NSR Happy New Year, which is 1st of April. We will be starting from 1/4/2000 and something to 31st March for a chartered account, and today is the birthday, correct, Alia? Your NSR accounts day is today. So praying to the Almighty God that let this be a fantastic financial year for all of us to have to achieve the financial stability by passing your CA final examination and be financially independent. In life, financial independence is one of the freedom we should have in our life. It's like எப்படி இந்தியாவுக்கு 1947ல ஃப்ரீடம் கிடைச்சிச்சோ அதே மாதிரி நம்ம வாழ்க்கையில் ஃபைனான்ஷியல் இண்டிபெண்டன்ஸ் முக்கியமானு கேட்டால் ரொம்ப முக்கியம்தான். ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் ஏஜுக்கு மேலே ஃபைனான்ஷியல் இண்டிபெண்டன்ஸ் தான் நம்ம வாழ்க்கையே. லைஃப் இஸ் ஈக்குவல் டு ஃபைனான்ஷியல் இண்டிபெண்டன்ஸ். பிகாஸ் டப்பு முக்கியம் தம்பி, அது இல்லாமல் எதுவுமே பண்ண முடியாது. ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் பீரியட் வரைக்கும் என்ன இருக்காதுன்னா அந்த ப்ரெஷர் இருக்காது. பட் ஒரு பாயிண்ட்டுக்கு மேலே ஃபைனான்ஷியல் இண்டிபெண்டன்ஸ், ஃபைனான்ஷியல் ஏர்னிங்ஸ் வில் பி அ மேஜர் ரோல் இன் அவர் லைஃப். ஸோ அதை அச்சீவ் பண்ணுறதுக்கான ஒரு 30 days நம்ம முன்னாடி இருக்கு. This April will play a vital role for that because we have scheduled our examination on May. So living this 30 days, அந்த 30 daysல வாழுங்க, டே நைட் ஆக்குங்க, நைட்டு டே ஆக்குங்க சார். ஃபுல்லாக உட்காந்து என்ன சார் படிங்க. 12 to 14 hours stretch your studies. This 30 days focus is very important. If you are feeling that anything is impossible, what you are thinking will be happening. Don't worry about the results for the time being. Enjoy that game. Same like what MSD has done yesterday. 43 yearsலயும் ஸ்டேஜில் வந்து நின்று அந்த என்ன சொல்கிற சார் ஆடுறதுங்கிறது ரொம்ப பெரிய விஷயம். அதுவும் ஆப்போசிட்டில் ஜடேஜா இன்னும் வயசாகல இருந்தால் கூட ஒரு பால் கூட பேட்டில் படுதில்லை. பட்டு இவ்வளோ வயசாயும் அடின்னு மரணடி அடிக்கிறான். மேபி இன்னொரு ஒரு ஓவர் எக்ஸ்ட்ரா கிடச்சிருந்தா டீமே என்ன இருக்குன்னா ஜெயிச்சிருக்கும். ஸோ அதுலேருந்து நம்ம கற்றுக்க வேண்டிய பாடம் என்னன்னா, நம்ம என்ன நினைக்கிறோமோ அதுதான் வாழ்க்கையில் நடக்க போகுது. So MSD has thought that I want to play one more season. So he was worked for that, practiced for that. Sir match ஜெயிக்கலையே சார். MSD வரும்போதே மேட்ச் பாதி தோத்துருச்சு. அதுக்கு முன்னாடி பண்ணவங்களாம் என்ன பண்ணாங்க, 18 ஓவர் எதுவும் பண்ணாமல் கடைசி 2 ஓவர் வந்துட்டு எதுவும் பண்ண முடியாது. அந்த 2 ஓவரில் மேக்ஸிமம் என்ன பண்ண முடியுமோ அவ்வளோதான். ரைட்டு, played very well or not is the matter to be taken into consideration. 30 days play very well. Play very well. எஸ்டர்டே மேட்ச் நம்ம தோத்துட்டோங்கிறத விட MSD நல்லா ஆடிட்டோங்கிற சந்தோஷம் நமக்கு ஒரு CSK ஃபேனுக்கு இருக்கும், MSD ஃபேனுக்கு இருக்கும். We are not worried about the என்னன்னா வந்து ரிசல்ட். அதே மாதிரி தான் 30 days நல்லா ஆடிட்டோங்கிற ஃபர்ஸ்ட் என்ன இருக்கணும்னா ஒரு மென்டல் சாட்டிஸ்ஃபேக்ஷன் இருக்கணும். சார் நம்ம அப்போ தோப்புமா அப்படின்னு நான் சொல்லலை சார். இது கரெக்டாக வந்துச்சுன்னா ஜெயிக்கிறதுக்கான வாய்ப்பு ரொம்ப கம்மி. கன்ஃபியூஸ் ஆகாமல், மென்டல் ஆகாமல், உங்களை நீங்கள் கன்ஃபியூஸ் பண்ணிக்காமல் 30 days சூப்பராக ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணுங்க. ஒரு சூப்பரான ஒரு 30 days நம்ம முன்னாடி வருது. Will be revising the more and more of direct and indirect tax from this end. Morning will be devoting for one subject, evening will be devoting for another subject. 30 days will be doing more and more question. This is a month of question month. I always used to say that last 30 days change the model of the preparation from the provision to the question. Try to apply more and more and more question. Then only you will know that where you are standing, then correct yourself and revise. So we'll meet you at the appropriate time tomorrow morning to complete the OIDAR, a special package, in depth, all the related OIDAR discussion we will be discussing there itself. Till that, thank you and bye-bye from ANM.